Welcome to Growing Pains and Gains, the podcast where five lifelong friends navigating life across three states, Nebraska, Kansas, and Texas, share their real, raw, and often hilarious takes on everything under the sun. From the challenges of motherhood and millennials raising kids in a Gen Z world to tackling perimenopause, dating in your 30s, finances, and career shifts, we're diving into it all. We'll talk about balancing body image, exercise, and fashion. Whether it's embarrassing moments, personal successes, losses, marriage, or wild ride of raising preteens, toddlers, and every age in between, we're here for the messy and the meaningful. Join us as we embrace the growing pains and celebrate the gains that come with life's journey.
Hey, everybody.
Hello.
Hey.
All right. So for our first episode, we are each going to introduce ourselves. We're just going to talk a little bit about our lives and what's happened since we all graduated and left our hometown, what kind of brought us to today. We're also going to talk about how we all met and our versions of the story of how our friendship began and what kind of brought us to this podcast. And then you're also just going to hear a sneak peek about some different episode topics that you're going to hear from us throughout this season and our journey together. So I will kick us off. My name is Alex. I am 37 years old, almost 38. Live in Kansas City with my husband and our two kids. We have an 8-year-old son that's in second grade and a 4.5-year-old daughter that's in pre-K. Keeps us on our toes every day. So after I graduated high school and left our hometown of Coffeyville, Kansas, I went away to college in Lincoln, Nebraska. So I went to the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. I did not know anyone, but I grew up as a Husker fan, and that was always my goal, was to go to school in Lincoln. So in order to have some built-in best friends, I joined a sorority, Go Pi Pi. And from there, I graduated with my bachelor's in psychology. Then I decided to get my master's degree. So I moved to Kansas City. And the first year that I was in grad school, I lived with Audra, fellow podcaster. And we happened to live in the same apartment complex as Catherine. So that was a wild and fun year that you'll hear more about later. But after I graduated school, then I moved back to Nebraska. I lived in Omaha for a year. I lived with my mom to save money for the first year. And during that year, Maria introduced me to her cousin in a little matchmaking effort. And we started dating in January of 2012. He lived in a small town outside of Manhattan, Kansas at the time. So it was a little bit of a long distance relationship at first. We quickly kind of progressed, things got serious. And by August of that year, he moved to Omaha. We got an apartment together. We ended up getting engaged the next year in 2013. And we moved to a small town in Nebraska called Alma, which is where Maria lives currently. So we bought our first house there. We fixed it up, renovated it, all the fun things. We got married in 2014. And while we lived in Alma, my husband was running the golf course there. He loved it. He would have stayed for the rest of his life. But I was a juvenile probation officer, and it was less than fun. I worked with some amazing people, loved everyone that I worked with, but it was definitely not the job for me for long term. So in 2015, we decided that we needed to move where there was more job opportunities for both of us. That brought us back to Kansas City, where we've now been for 10 years. When we first moved here, we were still trying to sell our house in Alma, which was a never-ending 2-year saga before we finally got it sold. So at first, we lived with some good family friends when we first moved to Kansas City. We stayed with them for over a year. They were wonderful. And then we moved to a new house. We got pregnant. We had our first child. And in 2021, we moved to the neighborhood that we're in now. We love our neighborhood. We love the school district we're in, and wouldn't change a thing about that. When I first moved here looking for a different job, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I wanted to help people. I wanted to do something different. I did not want to do therapy, marriage and family therapy anymore. I had a friend that worked for a staffing agency. She was a recruiter. I had no idea what that was. I've never even heard of it. Well, I guess I heard of it because Catherine was a recruiter, but I didn't really know much about it. Like, you don't really go to college saying, oh, I want to be a recruiter when I grow up. So she loved her job. She loved the company she worked for. She told me that I should apply, see how it goes. I figured I'd try it out for a year, see what it's all about. And I joined in 2015. And now, almost 10 years later, I'm still there, still in the recruitment industry, still helping people find jobs. And yeah, that's a little bit about me. So, how I met all of these lovely ladies. In sixth grade, I had a birthday party. So, out of this group, I'm the only one that went to public school. And so I didn't know them before this. And I had heard of these Catholic schoolgirls. And I invited Catherine and Maria to my birthday party. I don't know why Chelsea wasn't invited. I guess I didn't know about her. But I invited Maria and Catherine to the party. And then in seventh grade, we were all in the same school. We all went to the same middle school together. That's where we all really started hanging out. We spent lots of time at Maria's house, hanging out with her family. That's where Audra came into the picture. Audra's her sister. Really, in high school, she kind of joined our group and started hanging out with us. And really, the rest is history from there. What you can expect to hear from me on future episodes moving forward, definitely just the journey of trying to grow your career, being a working mom, trying to balance the work-life balance with my husband and our kids, also trying to fit in exercise and taking care of myself, eating healthy, all the fun things that come with adulting. And that's pretty much it. Catherine, what do you got to say about that?
Well, I was just remembering in your probation officer days when I told you that I endorsed you on LinkedIn for handcuffing and you were so stressed out about it. And you're like, no, you have to take it down.
Because I was job hunting at the time. And I was like,
I needed to know your talents, and handcuffing was something you were pretty well experienced in.
I could not have people go to my LinkedIn and see that I'm handcuffing people, which, to be fair, I did have to handcuff one person one time in my probation job. But
Gosh. And Alex is tiny.
very intimidating. Oh, goodness. Okay, Audra, you're up. Let's tell us about you.
Hello, I'm Audra. I am 36, almost 37, which my birthday is always my favorite thing because I am going to be the same age as Catherine for about 2 weeks, which is very exciting for me. I graduated high school in 2007, and then I went on to mortuary school in Kansas City, which is when I lived with Alex. I graduated there, and then I kind of bounced all over. I lived in Kansas City. I moved back home with my parents more times than I would like to admit. I moved around until I moved to Houston in 9 years ago. I moved to Houston, and I felt like I finally belonged somewhere. A lot of my adulthood, I felt like I didn't really know where I was meant to be at. And Houston is where it's at. It definitely didn't come all at once. I worked 9 years to get to where I am at today, where I finally have peace in my life. I am the single one of the bunch. I have no kids and I have no one. So it's just me, myself, and I taking care of myself. When I'm not at work, disclaimer, I do love to work. I work a whole lot. I am a funeral director, so I work all the time, but truly I love working as much as I do. When I'm not working, I am working out at F45, which just became my obsession about 6 months ago. And I love hanging out with my friends, and I love a good brunch on a Sunday, even that brunch. But other than that, that's pretty much my story. How I met the girls is, of course, I am Maria's younger sister, and they were always at the house, having late night parties that my parents.
I did not like you always having to hang around.
Sure did.
But everybody else did. That's why she got to.
You sure didn't. You hated me being around, but when I got into my freshman year of high school, I joined sports, and Chelsea was on pretty much all of them other than basketball. So that's how me and her got really close together.
You were just surfing that bench together.
Right in that bench. And then I met the rest of the girls. I knew Catherine since I was
a little kid, I used to follow her dad around asking where the punk's at at my party.
You didn't just follow him around. You were like harassing him, like asking him if he had a punk all night long.
Good punk.
So that's how I met them. And thank God I did. Thank God I was Maria's little sister, because I literally have built-in best friends because of that.
No.
From me, you'll be hearing about dating in your 30s, how the good, the bad, and the ugly of that. And then also my experience with semaglutide and how it's changed my life since I've started on that 6-7 months ago. So that's enough about me. On to Chelsea.
All right. Well, I just want to say that thank God Alex went first, because you can tell which one of us is like the professional in the group.
The responsible one.
The responsible one. She definitely practiced this and had it ready to go. So
Been rehearsing.
I'm Chelsea. I am 38 now. And I say that because I just turned 38, but
2 months ago.
yeah, 2 months ago. So I am a mom of 4. I have 2 stepchildren that are 20 this week and 21, and then a 9-year-old and a 7-year-old. So we are a blended family. My husband just graduated. Whew, I gotta calm down. I am not a public speaker.
You got this, girl. You're doing great.
Okay. So my husband just retired from the military. When I
After what? 20, 21?
21 years.
Whoop,
He did
whoop.
21 years. So we just recently moved back to Kansas. So when I graduated from high school, I went to, skip it. I'm a dental hygienist. I went to Wichita State, and that's what I do for a living. We have lived all over. We've lived in Oklahoma all the way to Virginia. And my husband and I have been together for 10 years. Well, we've been married for 10 years, but we've been together for about 12. He was my brother's best friend in high school. And so obviously I said we're a blended family. One time my brother was going out with, Lucas lived in Germany. He was stationed in Germany for a while, and he was back in town. And I was like, ooh, what's he doing? And they were like, oh, he just got a divorce. I was like, oh, wait, what?
Single and ready to mingle?
Yeah. He was Chris, my brother's best friend in high school, but there was never any attraction there whatsoever. I was much younger than them. So, but when he was back for that Thanksgiving, my brother's phone died. So they ended up texting me from Chris's phone to come out, because I had told them I was going to come out and I couldn't get a hold of Chris. So I went to bed. So they text me from Lucas's phone. And so that's how it started. And the first time Lucas and I hung out, I introduced him to everyone as my future husband. And I didn't scare him
I don't
away.
think I knew that story.
I
Oh,
didn't
really?
either.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I was
I
real
love it.
drunk introducing
Have
him to
mercy.
everybody at
I remember your
Caesars.
first kiss.
What'd you say?
I remember your first kiss, and you said, "Oh Lord, have mercy."
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, so then the rest was history. Like I said, I didn't scare him off after that. And we were together for about a year long distance. And then after about the first year, I moved down to Fort Sill, Oklahoma to be with him. And then shortly after that, my stepkids moved in with us unexpectedly, but I've raised them since they were 9 and 10. And that has been great. There was definitely hard times, but we've made it through. And,
Now you've raised them to adults.
yeah, now they're adults, successful adults. And let's see. So we've been stationed in Oklahoma, and then we were in Kansas, and then we went to Virginia, and we recently moved back from Virginia, where we planted some roots in Wichita, and we're happy to be back.
We're happy to have you back in Kansas.
Yeah. So, let's see what you will. Oh, how I know the girls. Catherine and I have been best friends since first grade. We spent every single weekend together when we were growing up, spending each night at our house, her grandparents' house. We were always every weekend at each other's house. And then Maria joined the group in fourth grade. And pretty much we've all been inseparable since. And then Alex joined in seventh, and she was one of the popular kids in the
In the public school.
public school.
I don't know about
then,
that.
like Audra said, she started tagging along as she got into high school, and I always let her come with me, and we had lots of fun together. So, all right. Oh, what you will be sorry guys.
All right,
I'm
let's
just gonna go
wrap
ahead and
things
say
up.
I am the procrastinator of the group, and I don't prepare. And but yeah, so what you're going to be hearing from me, I will be talking about being a military wife, blended families, and how that has looked for us. And yeah, so next up is Catherine.
I am Catherine. I am 37 years old, and I am the mother of two amazing children. I love them more than anything in the world. I will probably talk about them nonstop. I have a 3-year-old little boy and a 1-year-old little girl. And we all live in Dallas, Texas. So a little bit about how I left Coffeyville and how I got to where I am now. So after high school, I went to Oklahoma State and I majored in hotel and restaurant administration, which is something I highly don't recommend doing. And I was ready to get out of school. So I graduated a semester early. I graduated in December of 2008. So I was only 21 at the time. And I moved to Kansas City. So I took a job as a restaurant manager. And it was in 2008. You remember times were not so great with the economy. So that was, I was just happy to have a job offer, moved to Kansas City. And I actually did that for 4.5 years, was with the company. But I wanted to move back to Dallas. I had always loved Dallas. Wait, I skipped the part. So that is in Kansas City is when I lived in the same apartment complex as Alex and Audra. So we were neighbors, like just a few buildings away. And I wanted to move back to Dallas. This is where I did my summer internship and actually worked for 4 seasons the summer of 2008 before I graduated. And so I moved back down to Dallas with the company that I was working for. It was a restaurant that I will not name because I still have nightmares about it. But anyway, so I moved down here to Dallas and I just actually forgot until Alex was talking about getting married in 2014 and I was remembering her wedding. I was actually married at the time, which I forgot about.
You don't want to remember.
Yeah, I don't. So I was married at the time, which I think I have forgotten, by choice or by not. But anyway, I forgot. So I moved down to Dallas with him and did not stay with the restaurant company long. And I took a chance on a different job. And that is where I am still with. 12 years later, I'm with the same company. And like Alex mentioned, it is an IT. Well, it's recruiting. She does a different industry, but we do primarily IT. So I work for a global talent solutions firm and I am an account manager. And absolutely love it. I love my corporate job. It is amazing. Work for an absolutely fantastic company. In 2022, I actually did something that I had wanted to do for a couple of years, and I got my certifications. I'm a certified mindset coach. So I have several different certifications, went through like a 9-month program, and am just recently starting to kind of venture out and start doing that in my free time, evenings and weekends, doing mindset coaching. So not quitting my day job for sure, but it's something that I'm very, very passionate about. It's something that I really, I helped myself kind of transform my life, transform my mindset. And so I want to help others. So that's something that I do kind of outside of business hours. Let's see what else. In my free time, I love to spend time with my kids. Like I told you, I'm kind of obsessed with my kids, my family. So love to read books. I am a total book nerd. I like to listen to books, read books. Love to walk. I'm also, I'm a huge walker. I'm not a runner. I mean, maybe I'll jog like if it's really, really cold, but not for long. I'm mostly just a walker and enjoy working out. We have a garage gym. So we have a gym in our garage and love to go down there and work out. My life partner, he is actually a retired athlete. And so he helps me with all of the training. So he's a built-in personal trainer right here at home. And now, as far as how I know lucky lady, how I know all of these wonderful women, like Chelsea said, I won't go back into that story. So,
I know.
Chelsea raised her hand.
oh, Chelsea, do you have something you wanted to add?
Well, I forgot to say what I like to do in my free time. So I thought you would.
We'll have another episode just for you to talk about that, Chelsea.
Raise your hand like this.
I know. I couldn't remember how to do it. Sorry, I thought you were done. Catherine.
No, that's all right. So like Chelsea said, I've known her. We've been best friends since first grade, and we spent like all our time together, just like she said. I mean, she's really more like family than friends.
Not blood, though.
Not blood related. We need to be very clear about that. That's another story for another time. Don't worry, we'll get there. Maria came crashing in fourth grade, and she was like very adamant that we were going to be her friends whether we wanted to or not. It was like a total love-hate relationship. Like sometimes she'd be so nice, and then sometimes she would be such like a bully, like just complete harassment. But you have to, fourth grade Maria is not the Maria that you know today. I want to be very clear, thank God. Fourth grade Maria was like a person of her own. So thankfully she grew out of that. And obviously, and our moms are best friends. So my mom is best friends with Maria and Audra's mom. They've been lifelong friends. They became friends when both of them tried out for cheerleading and did not make it. So they've been friends. Yes, since middle school days. So I have known Audra and Maria.
They had to join the drum corps.
Yeah, they did the drum corps. Yeah. So they, I've known Audra and Maria since we were really little, but that's when we really became friends and not just, around each other because our moms were friends. And Audra, so we were over there quite a bit, fourth, fifth, and then especially like, sixth, seventh, eighth. That's when we all started hanging out all the time. So Audra was always around, like we said, whether Maria wanted her there or not, she was there. Alex, we kind of merged together in seventh grade. And just full transparency, Alex does not remember inviting us to her birthday party, and she doesn't even remember us being there. And
I don't.
Yeah. So even though she says that's how she first met us, she didn't know us then. She thought she was too cool because we were Catholic school girls and she was a cool public school girl.
And I remember details of that party and I wasn't there.
And Chelsea didn't. Yeah.
Okay, the only thing I remember about that birthday party is that my sixth grade boyfriend bought me a single rose and I was head over heels at the time. So that's the highlight of my party,
that's
not
the one
the
that
Catholic
got away
girls.
too, man.
Absolutely not.
That's why she doesn't remember us being there, Maria. She was too busy with her single
true.
rose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
yeah.
A couple of topics that I will be talking about in upcoming episodes. Two topics that are very near and dear to my heart. So I am a mother of neurodivergent children. So I will be talking about life raising children on the spectrum and kind of what that looks like for me. It's a beautiful experience. So would love to share it with you all. And also being a sober mom. So I went from being like drunk party girl to sober mom. I mean, I turned it all the way around. So I will be sharing kind of that experience and what it looked like for me. Chelsea is also a sober mom. Our journeys look completely different, but we'll get more into that. And just tell you about kind of what that looks like for us. So those are kind of my hot topics that I'm excited to share with you all. Chelsea, what are your thoughts?
Oh, I just want to shout out because you're like the best mom ever. And I do want to point out that Catherine never wanted to be a mom. We never ever thought Catherine would have kids. And she's like the best mom ever. And I told her last time she was pregnant and just bebopping around so happy. And she had a little 1-year-old, was he one at the time? One and a half or so. Just as happy as could be. I was like, you need to have 5 kids. So
right.
She was like, I would. If I could have a nanny, I would.
Yeah, no, actually. So I've told Gary this before. And of course, he's 100% on board. So and I'm big on manifestation. So when I win the lottery, which I've been manifesting, the first thing I'm doing is getting pregnant and we're having another baby because I'm gonna get a full-time live-in nanny. A whole lot of help. We're gonna have full-time lawn care, a big beautiful house. So yeah, that's the first thing I'm doing is gonna go ahead and get pregnant. But until I win the lottery, we're just gonna keep it with the 2.
All right, Maria.
Okay. Hi, I'm Maria. I'm the creative or the big idea one. I'm 38. I'm married to my husband, Derek. We've been married for 14 and a half years. We have 3 boys. We like to keep it pretty precise. 3 boys. If we had I wanted a fourth, but if we had a fourth, we'd end up with 2 twin boys.
You would.
I love being a boy mom. It's chaotic, busy. They're into everything, all the sports. I was never competitive. Didn't grow up competitive, and they're making me that way. Even though I still feel so bad for the other team when they lose, or if somebody strikes out at baseball, and I feel bad for them. And my boys like to tell me that I should not be feeling bad for that for them. I am a first grade teacher. We live here in a small town, Alma, Nebraska, like Alex had mentioned earlier. And when I say small, I mean like 1,200 people small. So, but we love it. Everybody knows your name. Everybody knows your business, unfortunately.
And I know
Um,
everybody's
but-
business too.
And I do know everybody's business.
And you call and tell me.
I do. But no, really, I do love it here. Wouldn't want to raise my boys anywhere else. I know what they're getting into, even when I'm not there. And back to my boy, or their ages, 13, 10, and 6. My baby's in kindergarten, and I'm still really struggling. I, life, or
What happened after you left Coffeeville?
sorry.
How'd you get to Alma?
It hasn't always been a straight line. I was a college gypsy. I went to Emporia State with Chelsea, and I randomly decided to leave with another one of our dear friends, Andrea. We went to Washburn in Topeka, Kansas, and I was there for about 2 weeks until I didn't tell Andrea bye. Packed all my stuff up and left, went to Coffeeville. Fortunately, I could still enroll into the JUCO, their Coffeeville Community College. And I spent my time on the weekends going back to Emporia, staying in Chelsea's dorm. I did go to Emporia to begin with, like I said, with Chelsea. And so it was back to my old dorm. Then sophomore year, I went back to Emporia. And then
I forgot about that.
yeah. Then Chelsea left for dental hygiene purposes our spring semester. And so I followed her. I went back to Coffeeville Community College. And I'm sure everybody on that campus is like, oh my gosh,
She's back again.
Guess who's back?
And I was so
Then
glad you were back
finally-
so you could drive me around.
Yes. Then finally, my junior year, my parents put their foot down and said, nope, you're going to Pittsburgh State and you're not leaving. So I went to Pittsburgh State University in Pittsburgh, Kansas, and that's where I graduated from. I loved it. I did change my major. When I went to Emporia, I was majoring in elementary education. I changed my major to advertising and marketing with an emphasis in business. I graduated in 2009, and that's going to take us to How I Met My Husband, 2009. That last semester of college, Andrea and I went to go visit Alex. She had her cousin and some of his friends come out with us just to make it more fun. They're in Lincoln. And I met Derek, and Derek's best friend, Jeff, met Andrea, and it was like a big love triangle. And the rest is history. I moved to Nebraska and did not use my advertising and marketing degree and went back to college at Fort Hays State when I was pregnant with Beckett, and got my elementary education degree. So I have been teaching for 9 years. I taught at Southern Valley, a school out in kind of the middle of nowhere, but it was a beautiful school. I had met some really amazing people out there, great friends. But I recently just started teaching. This is my second year at Alma. And it was just, we needed to get back. We live in Alma and the commute was too much for us and the boys, and I love it here now. And I have my master's in elementary education, and I'm loving not having to take any more classes for anything. How I Met the Girls. What, Audra?
Oh, nothing. Keep on going.
How I Met the Girls. Well, Audra's my sister. And like I said, or like Catherine had said, known Catherine forever. I did like to harass her. At choir. At church, we had choir practice, and Catherine always had her hair done in the most perfect ponytail, and she'd sit in front of me. And I always like to lift her ponytail up and go and make it look like.
And Catherine was unimpressed, I'm sure.
Catherine, oh my goodness. And she would be too nervous to do anything. She'd turn around and look at me.
She's not laughing even now.
Because that didn't happen at choir practice. That happened at your wedding rehearsal and you were harassing me. And I was like, if you don't get off me, and it was with the, remember Chelsea?
It happened at choir. It happened at choir.
I don't remember choir. All I remember was at your wedding rehearsal and you were harassing me in front of the pastor.
And he looked at David. She did that to her ponytail, and he looked at David, the pastor, and he goes, "Now that's good."
Oh gosh.
Oh, guys, I'm more nervous than what I thought.
I know.
Met or became good friends with Chelsea and Catherine in fourth grade. I was bound and determined that I was going to come in like a wrecking ball and make sure that they were going to invite me to their sleepovers. And if they didn't, I was going to tell on them and tell that they were bragging about their plans, even though I was harassing them about their plans. So they had to get called out into the teacher's fourth grade teacher's office. Then met Alex and I knew who she was. Like we said, she was the popular one.
Guys, I don't believe this. I don't think I was the popular
And
one.
Catherine and I were so excited that we got invited to our 6th grade birthday. We were sad for Chelsea, but
You should have just brought her.
Well, they picked me up afterwards, and
I
then we had
always-
a sleepover after.
We would also always go to Alex's boyfriends at the time basement parties, and we would be dancing to.
Oh no!
Ray.
Oh, no. No, we were not
Stop.
invited. Alex
we
was
were not
invited.
invited.
They were my next door neighbors. Alex's boyfriend was my next door neighbor, and Alex was
This
invited.
was in
to the-
junior high. This was in junior high.
Alex was invited to the 8th grade party, and we were looking through the basement windows watching them dance. And we had never seen anybody dance like that. And I remember coming home. It was the year 2000. And I remember coming home and like twerking, or not twerk. I don't know what. They were dancing to
Oh, stop.
that episode.
Yep.
And I said, "Oh my gosh, guys, they were dancing like this, moving my pelvis around."
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness.
Maria always tries to make us sound way cooler than we were. We were 100%.
We really were not. We're not.
Oh goodness. You
Goodness,
guys.
guys. But what I will be, I talked about High Mount you all, right?
Yeah. What episodes are you gonna be talking about?
The episodes that I'm going to focus on, or talk about, not focus on, I'm big into the color world. Like if you're familiar with How to Color, I am a winter. So I'm going to talk more about that and some of the changes that are being made, y'all. Enneagrams, raising preteens. My 13-year-old is
He's not a preteen, he's a teenager.
a teen. Yep. You're right. Even though I want to believe he's a preteen. And what else? I had a whole list of things, guys.
Raising kids in a small town.
Marriages, weight loss, exercise, gut health.
We're going to talk to you about it all.
F,
Yeah.
Yeah.
the theory, the let them theory. Yeah. We're going to dive into it all. You don't want to miss.
Yes.
Not want to miss it.
Okay, so now you have met each of us. You know a little bit about our story and how we got here. like we mentioned, we grew up in a small town. We all became friends in Southeast Kansas, called Coffeyville, a little town called Coffeyville. And even though the five of us are doing this podcast, I would be remiss if I did not mention that we have a large group of high school friends. We're still very close with all of our friends. And so you might have some guest speakers throughout different episodes where Andrea, for example, that Maria mentioned, she might pop in and do some different topics. We might have some of our guy friends' wives talk about what it was like joining our tight friend group. So just wanted to mention that there are more of us. You will see more than just the five of our faces. And we're excited to be with you every week, every Thursday. So another part of our episodes, we will end each week talking about our pains and gains. So we're going to talk about our highs and lows. Catherine didn't think we need to mention that, but I'm going to just say it's our highs and lows for the week. So for me, my pains and gains, I will start with gains. So I have two. The first one is this was the first full week that both kids got to go to school since the middle of December. So I am celebrating between Christmas break and then the biggest snowstorm to ever hit Kansas City. We did not have a full week of school. So that was very exciting this week. And then also on Saturday for dinner last night, we had a little family date night at home. We did a surf and turf dinner with crab legs and steak. The crab legs, I'm going to toot my own horn. I got them at the store for $7.99 a pound. Anyone that likes seafood knows that that's a steal.
Whoop, that's the real gain.
Exactly. That was my gain. So we had a little date night in. It was super fun. The kids loved it. And yeah, so those are my gains for the week. And then pains would just be, it was a very difficult week at work. There were lots of different challenges. We had some tech issues. Our system at the company was down intermittently most of the days this week. So it was hard to kind of navigate that and make sure that we were all able to get our work done for the week. And I was very excited for the weekend to come and hopefully going into tomorrow, because tomorrow's Monday, we're recording these on Sundays, that we will have a smooth sailing week and much more productive. So that is my pains and gains for the week. Audra, what about yours?
Well, my pain was today.
It's okay. You can do this.
I don't know. This morning I woke up and as you all know, TikTok was down.
For like 2 hours.
No. It was down for a total of about 6 hours today. And those were the longest 6 hours of my life. I really didn't know what to do with myself or what to do. But my gain was it came back on. My life back. Yeah. Yes. And you better believe I'm going to be scrolling on it tonight.
All right. So I'll take it from here. My gain of the week is that we bought Wicked. So yeah. So I have seen it in the theaters twice. And the first time I didn't necessarily care to go see it. My friend asked me if I wanted to go and I went with her and loved it, listened to the soundtrack over and over and over again after I saw it the first time. And then I took the two younger kids to see it. And my son is 7 and I was like, oh, he's not going to want to see it. But I played the soundtrack so many times, when it got done, he goes, I loved it. I want to see it again. So we just bought it. We didn't even rent it. But I swear every time I see it, it's just better and better. And I can't quit listening to the soundtrack.
I still haven't seen it. I need to see it.
I love it. So that was my gain and my pain for the week. It could have been a gain at the beginning of the day, but so it's just hormones. I woke up on Thursday feeling so good and really getting lots done. And then out of nowhere, just worst mood ever. Nobody can bring me out of it. And for absolutely no reason. It's just hormones are just such a bitch. And that's my
pain. A lot about that.
Yeah. But really, that's all I can complain about for this week. It was a pretty good week. What you got, Kat?
All right. Pains and gains. So my gains for the week, something I'm very excited about. On Thursday, I had a meeting with a business coach that I'm going to be working with to get my mindset coaching company to where I want it to be. And super excited about that. Also, go follow me. It is A_beautiful_mindset_ on Instagram. So A_beautiful_mindset_. Go follow me. Anyway, my pain for the week. Oh my gosh, my poor little baby is sick. And it's been going around. I was kind of sick earlier in the week, but yesterday during the Chiefs game, go Chiefs, also a game for the week.
Yeah.
She had taken a 2-hour nap and woke up and was acting normal. And then out of nowhere, when the Chiefs game started, she was just kind of laying on the ground, which is so unlike her. And she slept on me the whole entire Chiefs game and then started running a fever. So I took her to urgent care. The good news is she seems kind of back to herself. She's making happy noises and was eating. She ate a full meal for dinner.
Good.
So hopefully that's turning into, a future gain, my baby getting back to 100% health.
Oh, yeah.
What about you, Maria?
I'm going to say that I'm going to kind of do backwards and do my pain first because my dad had a scare last Saturday night. He was rushed to the hospital with what we thought was a heart attack. So I drove home, but like as fast as I could get there, to be with my mom and dad. And, it was scary with the unknowns, but we got positive answers. And the gain is he was able to go home on Tuesday and I came back on Wednesday to Alma. And, I have to just say that I am just so glad to be sitting in this spot right now with daddy and mom. Okay.
Amen.
Everything's normal.
Yes.
And I'd
So-
just like to say that their dad is like all of our dad. He is the best ever.
He is.
We absolutely
really
love
is.
him.
Really.
Best.
Yes.
And also before we get off here, I'm going to announce our winner for the House of Shan apparel. You get to choose what you want, but I'm so thankful for everybody who liked, commented, shared our post. We really, really appreciate that. But the winner was Leslie Hertelman. Thank you, Leslie. And you can I can message you and you can get on and choose what you want from House of Shan and we'll send it your way.
Okay.
All right. Thank you for joining us for the podcast you didn't know you needed. Now you know. So we hope you'll join us next week on Growing Pains and Gains for an all-new episode where we'll be discussing our favorite stories from our childhood and young adult years.
Better get ready. It's going to be good. Bye, guys.